If you're into camping, RVing, prepping, survivalist, or if you just live in a hurricane-prone area of the country like I do, you've probably been looking at some of these portable power stations. And I'm not talking about just a battery with the cables on it. I'm talking about one that has a battery management system in it and all of that. I've reviewed several of them from names that are huge and names that I haven't heard of before. Today I've got one from a company that I'm really not all that familiar with, but it's probably the best power station that I've gotten yet. The Aferiy P210 2400 watt power station. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and yeah, like I said, I've reviewed several of these products and I use them in my daily life. I use them to charge electric skateboards and bikes and for fans and things like that. We do have power outages on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, even if it's not a hurricane. Sometimes we just have these strong winds, you know, and that's a nor'easter, that's gonna take your power out. I'm just one of those people that uses a lot of things that need power, and I don't know, I've just always been power insecure, but I'm not now that I've got these power stations around. And this one, I'm gonna tell you, is the best power station that I own at this point. This thing is a beast. It's nice and powerful. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the website, give you some specs on it, do a very, very quick unboxing. There's not a whole lot to see there. We'll test it out, plug a few things into it, even plug it into a solar panel, and then we'll give you my final impression. So let's check out the site. All right, so this is available both on their own website and they've also got an Amazon listing. We'll start off by looking at the Amazon listing. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce their name, but I think it's Aferiy. It's a portable power station with 2400 watts and 2048 watt hours. They're using lithium iron phosphate batteries. I call it LiFePO4, which are fantastic batteries. Quick charge in 1.5 hours. I'm gonna say it was more around 2 hours, but I'm telling you, this thing is huge and it charged very, very fast. And we're gonna show you that in a minute. Of course, an electric generator. So their listing says it's $1,399. Or they have a coupon. You can just click that and get $400 off, so that makes it $999. Now, if you're familiar with these things, as you start getting bigger and bigger with the wattage, they get more and more expensive. This is actually a very, very reasonable price for this one. As I mentioned with these LiFePO4 batteries, up to 10 years, remarkable lifespan on these, designed to endure over 3,000 charge and discharge cycles, maintaining at least 80% of its original capacity. If you use rechargeable devices, you know that eventually they die. So that's a really good thing. Up to 10 years, that's fantastic. And it does have fast charging, and when they say fast, they mean it. Typically when these companies say fast charging, that's because you're plugging it into the wall and a USB and multiple connections in order to get that fast charge. This one, literally one cable. A single cable is enough to charge it with a maximum of 1100 watts, 0 to 80% in just 45 minutes, and 0 to 100% in 1.5 hours with AC input, plus 500 watt solar input. Maybe that's why for me it took about 2 to 2.5 hours, but I didn't have it in solar and into a plug. But I put this thing into the AC outlet and man, look at that. It just, well, it zipped up really fast. You can see right here it's climbing and it's climbing. And then we'll just cut to where it topped out and you can see it's topping out at 1100 watts. So even if you don't have this plugged into multiple things, you're gonna get a super fast charge. I wanna say 2.5 hours is what it took for me to get that. Now I did take this out and plugged it into a 140 watt solar panel. Yeah, the sun wasn't perfect. It was afternoon sun and there were some clouds up there and stuff. So I just wanted to see how simple it was. They send you a cable that you can plug right into most solar panels and have those standard connections. Then it just plugs right into the side of the generator, right next to where you'd plug it into the wall. Now, while this is a 140 watt solar panel, I was only able to get, I think, between 65 and 70 as far as the watts into it. But even that is good, especially on a day where it's partially cloudy and you don't have the best sun. So that's pretty good. This can also be used as a UPS, plug it into the wall, plug your computer and whatever into it. And if the power goes out, milliseconds, and it'll click right over to this, so as if it never happened. Now I'm gonna head over to their website now, and you can see right up here at the top, $14.99 is what it's listed at, and it's down to $9.99. A little more comprehensive, 2400 watt AC pure sine wave inverter, 2048 watt hour large capacity, LiFePO4 battery with 3500 plus life cycles to 85%, 4 ways to recharge AC, solar, car, AC, and solar. 500 watt MPPT solar input. That means you can daisy chain appropriate panels and get up to that 500 watts. So this has 16 outputs on it, and I've never used that many, not even as many are in this picture right here, but you can get an idea of how you can use it. With a pure sine wave output, the P210 has a stable waveform that won't damage electrical appliances. And they say here you can power most of your appliances like air conditioners, electric blankets, rice cookers, coffee makers, microwaves, air fryer, hair dryers, blenders, TV, projectors, and more. In the event of an unexpected blackout, P210 is perfect home backup system, especially in some areas with unstable voltage. So here's some examples. If you were to use this thing, you get 1.5 hours in a coffee maker. A microwave, you get 2.5 hours at 700 watts. Electric grill, which I have a Traeger, you could get 1.5 hours out of it. An air conditioner, 1.5 hours. A refrigerator at 150 watts, 10 hours. TV, which is big time for me. When the power goes out here, I need a fan and I need TV. 26 hours on a TV. And I know if you have a CPAP machine and you go camping or something, you're gonna need something like this, 40 hours on that. In this image, they're even using it for a power saw. So you can power 13 devices simultaneously. It has 6 AC ports, 2 18-watt USB-A, 2 18-watt USB-A QC 3.0 ports, 2 PD 20-watt USB-C ports, and 1 PD 100-watt USB-C port. Has 2 12-volt 3-amp DC 5521 ports, 1 12-volt 10-amp car cigarette lighter port, 1 XT60 port, and you can plug all that in up to 2400 watts without overloading the portable power station. Now, I've already mentioned the LiFePO 4 batteries will last up to 10 years, but it's also important that it has a good BMS, battery management system. That'll monitor the status of the battery, prevent and avoid abnormal conditions such as over discharge, overcharge, over voltage, overload. You get the point. And yes, it has fans, but it's much quieter than most of the power stations that I've tried. And here's a big one. This thing has a 7-year warranty on it. Yeah, 7 years. I mean, yeah, I've seen companies say, yeah, you have a year warranty or something like that, but 7 years, that's pretty fantastic. So they got the 7-year extended manufacturer's warranty and lifetime technical support from the date of purchase. Pretty simple. It has the P210 portable power supply, AC charging cable, MC4 XT90 cable. That's the cable that I use to plug it into the solar panel. Instruction manual, dust cover, and storage bag. The storage bag they're talking about is this little bag right here. It's nice if you want to put your cables and stuff in there, but I've actually got them inside the compartment on the top of the power station. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so I might put them back in here. And then you've got this, which is a really nice cover. I don't think it's waterproof. It's kind of that silky stuff that it's water resistant, but it's elastic on the bottom of it. It covers the entire power station, and that's a nice little bonus that comes with it. So let's do that quick unboxing. We'll show you some examples of use of this. I'll come back and give you my final impressions. One of the typical case uses, especially if the power goes out, like if we have a hurricane or something like that and I want to get out and ride one of my electric skateboards or whatever, is to charge one of my skateboards through it. And you can see this thing it's no small power station, right? Oh, well, I guess if you know the scale of these boards, this is a pretty big board. And of course, while I'm sleeping, I've got to have a fan, absolutely. So what we'll do is we'll plug both of these in there. So the first thing you got to do is turn the power button on. And there we go, at 100%. A little bit of noise right off the bat. That is the BMS and the system checking everything. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is plug in this fan. So let's just pick an outlet. Then we will take this for the board. I'm gonna plug that in. And each one of the sections has its own power button to turn it on. We just turn that on. The fan is now on. And we've got a light on this power brick right here. So far it's drawing 32 watts. Let's see what happens when we plug in the board here. With the electric skateboards, you always want to plug in the power supply first and then you plug in the board. And there we go. So that is plugged in. You can see that it's charging by that. And it is drawing around 178, 179 watts. So I got a lot of headroom here, man. I mean, even these two things plugged in, only 177 watts, and we've got 2,400. Now this air fryer here, it draws a lot of power, so let's see how that does. We're gonna plug her in right down here, turn on the AC, and that just turned on. Not drawing anything just yet, but let's turn her on. Oh, let's just for a minute. And that's as high as it goes. And it seems to be working. It says we'll get 88 minutes of output on that for the time remaining. And that's running at 1,280 watts. All right. Not too bad. The thing is, I've tried that air fryer on other power stations and none of them was enough for it, so at least I know that'll run it. So I can easily say that this is the best power station that I have, and I've tried some big names. This name, the brand is not a brand that I'm super familiar with, but after trying their product and looking at their website, I'm telling you that this is a good brand. They've got other power stations, solar panels, and other stuff, so I'll put a link down in the description so you can check out their website, and I'll also put a link to the Amazon. I know some people prefer to buy from Amazon rather than direct off of a website, because if they have to do a return or something like that, it's more easy, but basically they're the same price either way that you go. This thing has 2,400 watts and way more than ample outputs. It just depends. If you're plugging in 3 air fryers, a hair dryer, and whatever else, it's going to max out. And it does have that circuit breaker on the side of it. If it pops out, you just pop it back in. You may have to turn the device off and back on, but it'll work. But in a practical situation, if we have a hurricane or a nor'easter and the power goes out here, I'd be able to plug in my TV, a fan, my computer, plug in some phones and get those charged and all that kind of stuff. And I also have one of those the refrigerator coolers. I could plug that in. I could get a lot of stuff going with this. Daisy chain a couple of solar panels and I'm good to go, man. Add in my other supplemental power stations and I could probably power most of my house. All without the use of gasoline, and I like that quite a bit. I don't use my solar panels as much as I'd like to charge these things, but I don't have a backyard, you know? I mean, if I had a backyard, I'd probably hang them off of a ladder and make a whole setup and all that stuff. I live in a condo, so you know, the space is somewhat limited, but in a pinch, I would be able to use those. Not much more to say. This is a great power station and a very good price. I like it. It's the best one that I've got now. That is the Aferiy P210, and I want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, always very important to my channel. So if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a red subscribe button down there and notification bell. If you click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. Down below this video, you'll find a thanks button. If you're so inclined, want to toss a couple bucks my way, I would definitely appreciate it. It is not inexpensive to run these channels. This was $999, which I bought. Every penny counts, so I appreciate it. But either way, just the fact that you're here watching this video is very humbling to me, and I really do appreciate you. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vaportrail channel.